Hello, Potato, and welcome to Weekend Magic for May the 20th, 2023. So, this week we heard that the Star Wars Star Cruiser is closing. So now I am super jealous for anybody who got to go, because now I clearly never will unless I win that. I will show another. They have that giveaway going right now on ShopDisney for like a 4-night stay at it, and well, I guess it's open till the end of summer, so if you win, you just need to go very, very soon? I don't know. But I am totally jealous of people who got to go, got to have that experience, got to get the merchandise from it. That will, well, actually, maybe that'll show up in like the Disney outlet or something at some point. Or one of those, if they have those AMS character outlets still exist, maybe one of those will pop up around here and I can get some Galactic Star Cruiser merchandise there. But it's sad that it's closing, but at $2,500 a night, I'm not terribly surprised. You can plan like a week-long trip to Disneyland for like 2 people for staying on property in concierge level for like the price of 3 nights in the Star Cruiser. And so it's sad, but it's not unexpected. I'm sure they'll tone it down and turn it into just like maybe more of a generic Star Wars hotel, and just kind of eliminate the Star Cruiser LARPing elements. But it is sad to see that fail. But that price point was just way too high. Also this week, we saw the release of this year's Pride merchandise, which was staggered over a couple days, because I saw it like on Monday, and I'm not the target audience for Pride merchandise by any means, but I was a little disappointed when I saw it was like all just shirts and stuff. Later on, they did release pins, and there are a couple I probably will get. I have not ordered anything as of yet, but there probably are a couple pins I will pick up, just because, it's always nice to get a couple new Pride pins each year. And also on Monday, we had the release of the newest collection for Disney 100 Decades, the 50s, which I suppose, given that we bought like everything except for the plush, is the best collection so far. Certainly the most expensive, certainly one we spent the most on, and a thing that I've complained about in literally every video that I talked about Decades in, it had a toy. The toy is back. They had a Captain Hook's pirate ship. Now, I did order it, and I'm keeping my expectations fairly low. I feel like Steamboat Willie, I don't think was necessarily worth $50. I'm feeling that, we'll see when it gets here, but I kind of feel like Captain Hook's pirate ship is also going to not be worth $50. But we will see when it gets here. But we even got the Magic Band. I don't know why we got the Magic Band, but we did order or pre-order the Magic Band. So that'll be something for like a future video. I don't imagine it'll ever get used because it's a limited edition Magic Band, but also I don't know when we'll go to Disneyland next. But it was a nice design, and my wife liked it, so we went ahead and ordered it. But none of that stuff is here yet. That'll probably be next week's video. This week, though, we do have a Disney Decades item. We have a lost Disney Decades item that was released last Friday, not yesterday, but last Friday when they released the Star Wars. Well, they released the holocrons and the kyber crystals. It wasn't really a big Star Wars Galaxy's Edge release. It was just the holocrons and the kyber crystals, which, again, to be fair, if you didn't have the kyber crystals already and you wanted them, that was a great opportunity, because those did sell out. The holocrons, I believe, are still there as of when I looked yesterday, but the kyber crystals were gone like that day, so clearly people wanted those. But another thing that was released on that was they didn't even release it as a Decades item. They didn't promote it as being part of the Decades collection, but the box indicates that it clearly is, and it's what I guess was meant to be the 1940s collection toy. Pull Back Mr. Toad and Wind Up Headless Horseman. Now, I planned to buy these before I even realized they were Decades, because Headless Horseman and Mr. Toad, you don't get a lot of merchandise for either of them, so I do tend to get anything, especially Headless Horseman. I'd love to see Super 7 do a Disney Ultimate Headless Horseman, preferably with the horse, but I'm not saying I wouldn't buy it without the horse, but with the horse would be preferable. And Yeah, this arrived on Thursday, and it is super, super light. Like, if you didn't hear things rattling around in the box, you would be forgiven for thinking the box was empty. I have a feeling that when I take this out, these are going to be the sort of thing that I would expect as like in the impulse little bins in the queue to pay for stuff in the shops at Disney. I kind of feel like that's what this is going to be like quality-wise. But yeah, these clearly were meant to be for the 40s. They are from the 1949 release of The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. That was what it was called. I was thinking Fun and Fancy Free, but that's totally, totally wrong. Yeah, so these are clearly were meant to be part of, yeah, they even say Series 3 of 10. Series 3 of 10 series. That's an awkward way of writing it. So I guess the only decade that doesn't get a toy is the 30s. This is the 40s. And Steamboat Willie was the 20s. So the 30s didn't get a toy. Or maybe it'll just drop that later on and just some point some random toy from the 30s collection will show up. I don't know. But I feel like, depending on the quality of these and the quality of Captain Hook's pirate ship, I may abandon the toy thing. It's, I feel like there's a possibility that they're just kind of victimizing schmucks like me who are completists once they start something. Some Lego there. Get that out of the way. So, there are words back here. We should read the words. The first part is just the standard paragraph that's on the front of all these decades items. But the rest of it, or at least the next two paragraphs, do seem to be relevant purely to this item. So let's read those. The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad debuted October 5th, 1949, and has continued to take audiences on a wild ride. As part of a package feature, the film contains two featurettes, one of which is the story of The Wind in the Willows, featuring a dapper, thrill-seeking Mr. Toad. The other is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, a story about a tasteful schoolmaster who goes missing after an encounter with the terrifying Headless Horseman. In celebration of the Walt Disney Company's rich history, this two-piece tin toy collectible set invites you on a thrilling playtime adventure. This set includes a pullback Mr. Toad and a wind-up Ichabod crane for you to revel. Both toy types were beloved during the time of the film's premiere, and they're here to take you back in time to that magical moment. Recapture that nostalgia with a daring and dapper duo as you recreate timeless fun. Okay, first off, that is not Ichabod Crane. That is the Headless Horseman. They are not the same person. In any telling of the Legend of Sleepy Hollow that I have ever heard, they're two different entities. So that right there bothers me way more than it should. I should have read this before I started recording it. So yeah, that's the Headless Horseman, not Ichabod Crane. And they're tin, which I didn't know. I thought they were plastic. So I am a little bit more hopeful for these than I was. I still feel like 50 was a big ask, but we haven't looked at them yet. Let's pop them open and look at them. So I guess by the time we get to the 60s, the next collection, tin toys were not as much of a thing anymore, because I am pretty sure Captain Hook is going to be plastic. Except for the Skull Mountain. I think Skull Mountain is going to be paper. I think it actually says in the description that it's like cardboard or paper, which again feels very authentic for the time. It's before my time, but that feels right because they were still pulling that stuff in the 80s. So, all right. And again, they are cable tied in, so you can't just take them out and put them back. They are actually tin though, so I'll give them that. Well, let me extricate these from their bondage and we'll take a look at them. All right, they are now free from their bondage, and just like with the Steamboat Willie, they are not really proper tin toys in that there's a lot of plastic here. Seats plastic, Toad's like, his string was not even attached. There we go. Guess that fixes. But the brake's plastic, the headlights are plastic. It's just, even the fenders are plastic. It's just like the main part of the body that is tin. Everything else here is plastic. So it's not really a tin toy in that sense. It doesn't look bad. I think Mr. Toad's got a nice sculpt to him. It's well painted. It does look like a nice rendition of the ride vehicle. Well, not the ride vehicle, his car. It doesn't really look like the ride vehicle. But it really does feel like something that I would expect to see as an impulse item just in the checkout queue of like World of Disney or something. It just does not feel like a high-end 100th anniversary collectible to me. Headless Horseman, more tin here. The horse is almost entirely tin. His ears are plastic. But the body... Are the legs plastic? No, the legs are metal. Yeah, it's so the horseman himself, who has the literally the most ridiculous pose ever, could maybe have at least like clamped his legs around the horse a little bit. But he's plastic. The Headless Horseman is entirely plastic, but the horse is metal. Yeah, the entire horse except for the ears is metal. So that's nice. I like the look on the face. I don't think it's as good of a rendition as Mr. Toad is overall, though. I feel like the horseman's pose is a little feels very T-posy to me. I don't like this like paint. His body is plastic, right? I don't know, it might be metal too. I honestly can't tell for sure. You'd think I should be able to tell the difference between metal and plastic, but the sword is definitely plastic. The pumpkin is definitely plastic. The cape is definitely plastic, but the body might be metal, which I suppose would somewhat excuse this paint issue here along the seam, but only somewhat. Oh, the feet are definitely plastic. Looks like they're not even seated. So yeah, that is definitely metal. Okay. But and they're not seated into the legs particularly well. As much as I wanted to like him more, I feel like he is definitely the worst of the two. And I do feel, honestly, I do feel a bit of a schmuck spending $50 for him. But let's see how they work at least. Do they work as advertised? No, that's it. From a distance, like on a shelf, if you had like a glassed-in display cabinet you wanted to put these in with Steamboat Willie and Captain Hook's pirate ship and whatever comes after that, that might look good. But as far as actual like play, I mean, $50 not really meant to be play with toys, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like $30 would have been a more appropriate price point for what we have here. He's supposed to have pullback action. Supposed to have pullback action. Oh, is it like one of those ones where you have to like release it? Do I have to like flip the brake? So that's it. It's like, so I haven't seen those kind of toys since I was a little kid. The kind where you have to actually, you pull them back and there's actually a release. So let's see if we can get him to go here. Well, I mean, I do like kind of like the little rocking action. Don't know if I wind him up more. Okay, that's the universal sound for fully wound. Let's try one more time. One more time. So, you know, okay, I will be the first to admit that this tablecloth is maybe not the best surface to do this on, but that is a very, very weak motor. I do kind of like how Mr. Toad bobbles around a bit as he rolls. That's kind of cool. And he looks nice. I think this one looks better, but I still don't think it looks like a $25 toy. And that's ultimately what it would be. I think maybe 10 or 15. And again, I still feel very much impulse bin in the checkout queue. All right, let's try the Headless Horseman. So problem number one is the Headless Horseman blocks the keyhole with his leg. All right. And nothing. Let's try winding it some more. All right. It made the clicking noise. That's it. You just kind of... Okay, you can't blame the tablecloth for this one. Well, so basically the feet kick, I thought maybe like hopped along or something, but no, he's just supposed to kind of buck up and down, and the horseman kind of wobbles on the back, which I guess is why the legs aren't more fitted to the side. So yeah, these are not great. These would look nice on a shelf if you are doing a shelf of Disney Decades toys, which will of course have that conspicuous gap for the 30s. Again, unless that's something they're going to drop elsewhere. It'll look nice on a shelf, but I feel like it would be worth waiting for the keys looks kind of cute. It's got the flaming pumpkin on it. I feel like it would be worth waiting for these to go, or taking the risk of waiting for these to go on like discount. I don't think these are going to be the best-selling item in the Decades collection. I feel like even Disney maybe wasn't so hot on these, hence them not releasing as part of the 40s collection and them not promoting as part of the Decades collection when they did release it. They just released it as Mr. Toad and the Headless Horseman. They didn't, nothing I saw emphasized that it was part of the Disney 100 Decades collection, which it clearly was meant to be. I feel like maybe they realized it's not that great either. So yeah. For a shelf display item, okay, sure. But this is like 80% plastic for a tin toy. This is more tin. Neither works particularly well. They do look pretty cool. This, I don't think you tell by looking at this is meant to be a tin toy. This looks like it's supposed to be a tin toy. It looks kind of has that retro, not great paint job that those old tin toys had. This looks like it could just have been made of plastic. If you picked this up, you wouldn't know any of this is metal. I mean, even touching it. Also, he doesn't stay stuck to his little base very well. It's he's nicely designed, but rather poorly built. The motor doesn't work for beans. His motor doesn't work for beans. These are overall not great items. So if you haven't ordered them already and you're thinking about it, I'm gonna say don't. I'm gonna say wait to see if they mark these down later on. They marked down a lot of the old Mickey Mouse Main Attraction stuff that didn't sell. And which honestly kind of surprised me that stuff didn't sell better. But this is not a great set. But next month looks better. No, next month. The next one, the one that was just released on Monday, does look better. Maybe not for the toy exactly, but for the rest of it. And if nothing else, we'll have another pin for the pin board. But yeah, this, unless you are super fans of either of these characters, who even Disney doesn't remember that this isn't Ichabod Crane, I definitely would just maybe put it in your wish list and just pop in there periodically to see if it's been marked down to, I would say at the $30 level. Grab these. These are probably worth about $30. They are not worth $50. And yeah, I am feeling a little bit of buyer's remorse here. And on that cheerful note, I will thank you for watching. I hope you found it at all interesting or entertaining. If you did, go ahead, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. In celebration of Walt Disney Company's rich history, this two-piece tin toy collectible set invites you on a thrilling playtime adventure. The set includes a pullback Mr. Toad and a wind-up Ichabod Crane for you to revel. No, it doesn't. That is not Ichabod Crane.